Most people like to watch workmen on a construction job, but I had a special interest. Before I finished high school, I wanted to learn something about the building trades. I've always liked to work with my hands, to build things. Maybe, I thought, maybe Mr. Johnson, the contractor, would give me a job. I don't remember much about what I said to Mr. Johnson, except that I was looking for a summer job and that I'd work hard. He seemed to think I could handle the job and that he would need extra help. That summer, when school was out, a new adventure began for me. It was hard work. I wasn't sure I had the strength to do it. But in time, I found that I could do the work. And by watching the experienced building tradesmen work, I had a chance to learn. I noticed that every skilled craftsman knew how to use the tools of his trade with precision and ease. The carpenter moved carefully and coordinated his hands with the rest of his body. Carpenters used many different tools skillfully. I felt that he had to have experience and training, years of training. The experienced bricklayer knew what he was doing, too. He worked fast so his mortar would not preset. After he measured his work to blueprint specifications, he spread mortar with his trowel. Then he set the bricks in a firm and permanent position. The plumber laid out a network of pipes to supply water to a building and to dispose of water from that building. He worked from blueprint specifications, too. I learned that the plumber had to know basic scientific principles and sanitary requirements to do his job right. He also had to be skilled in the use of different tools. Some are mechanical tools, such as this pipe threader. The cuts and curves the sheet metal worker made with his shears are not quickly learned. And from the different pieces he cut, he assembled ventilating equipment and heating ducts. The work of the electrician also seemed interesting. And you really have to understand intricate circuits to be able to set up an electrical wiring system. As time passed, I realized that each skilled builder must apply his trade expertly so that a structure will stand for years and years. Time to eat. Time to relax. Time to make friends and talk. The men talked about everything, their families, their automobiles, their hobbies. I learned that most construction workers belong to unions, and that there is a union for each trade. They seemed independent and proud of their crafts. But as I listened, I realized that there were certain disadvantages to working in the building trades. Bad weather was a constant worry. Rainy days and winter months meant a slack period, maybe no work. And most jobs in the building trades are temporary. Once a project is completed, the worker has to look for another job, unless he contracts jobs for himself, as Mr. Johnson does, or finds steady employment with a business establishment or a city. But if I could become really skilled like these tradesmen here, I thought there'd always be work for me. When I returned to high school in the fall, I knew that there was much I had to learn. With the advice of the school counselor, I carefully planned my courses to help me realize my ambition, to work in the building trades. I worked hard, for now each subject, each class became more of a challenge to me. Mathematics, algebra and geometry particularly. I knew I could never be a builder without mathematical knowledge. In mechanical drawing class, I learned how to make drawings and see things in proper perspective. In shop, I learned how to put tools to their proper basic use. The skilled craftsman must work with people. He must be able to understand instructions and to give instructions clearly. So, my English class was important, whether I talked before the class, studied the meaning of words, or read a poem, such as this one by James Russell Lowell. No man is born into the world whose work is not born with him. There is always work and tools to work withal, for those who will, and blessed are the horny hands of toil. That verse reminded me of the men and the work that I had learned about in the building trades. I never was much of a reader, but there I was in the library doing some heavy reading. Research about the building trades. I discovered that there were more than 2 million people in the building trades. Carpenters, laborers, painters, electricians, and many more. And there are jobs to be had in most of the trades in any part of our country. The best way to become a skilled worker or journeyman is to serve some sort of apprenticeship for a few years. A job with the tools of your particular trade, taught by an experienced journeyman. Each of the trades requires specialized training, so I had to decide on one trade. I thought back over my summer's work and the skilled trades I had seen. The bricklayer, plumber, the electrician, the carpenter, and others, such as the painter, whose skill I had admired so much. The glazier's trade also interested me. More and more buildings are being built with glass walls and partitions, so there will be plenty of work for the trained, skilled glazier. The plasterer seemed an artist, as he spread the fresh plaster smoothly in a few broad strokes. If I had a chance to learn his trade, or any of the skilled trades, I'd be happy. But I remembered how interested I was in the work of the carpenter last summer. And I recalled the wonderful feeling I get when I build something, even a simple shelf, in workshop class at school. I figured I had the ability and the interest to become a carpenter. After I graduated from high school, I asked Mr. Johnson for an apprenticeship recommendation. I wanted to be a good carpenter. With his help and the approval of both management and labor, my formal training as a carpenter's apprentice began. Then I learned more about how to read blueprints. I estimated the amount and cost of lumber. I learned how to cut and fit pieces of many shapes, and how to skillfully use the tools of my trade. Now, with proper supervision, I am learning to be a good carpenter. You know, it's a wonderful feeling to know that I can build, that I can really contribute to the growth of my community.